Wow.
This
is so funny.
My Michters. That's so wild about Sazerac, yo. So wild.
Did you just say yo?
I did. That's how, like...
Who are you?
Dumbfounded I am right now. I don't even have control of my words. Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we are back with another double-blind head-to-head, where we draw samples at random from our blind sample pool, and we taste them totally blind.
Yes.
Said blind like 3 times now. That's the point of all of this.
3 blind mice.
Yeah. So we do it this way so that you get the most honest opinions possible. We don't have a clue what's in our glasses, but we're going to smell them, taste them, let you know what we think about them, how they compare. We'll give them some ratings. Then we're going to find out the price and see if that changes our ratings before we find out what we're drinking.
Yes.
A little bit of a backwards way of doing things, but again, we think this gives you the most unbiased opinions possible. Maybe not the typical notes you might get out of whatever these 2 things are in these glasses.
But we're not your typical whiskey channel.
Maybe they will be. But let's see. Let's get this on the nose. Glass 1.
I'm getting stinky feet and sweet, sweet fruit.
So when you say stinky feet and sweet, sweet fruit, there is a specific distillery that you call those things to mind with.
Ooh, what is it?
And this smells like that product to me. It smells Buffalo Tracy.
Oh,
I'm not saying it is Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Okay.
Bourbon does smell like bourbon, I will say.
So when I say sweet fruit and stinky feet, we're talking about a Buffalo Trace product.
That
has come to pass when we've done these.
It's the combination of the 2.
Right.
And if you guys are watching this, you know Erin's stinky feet note is just kind of a sweet, pleasant funk. Because her stinky feet are different than our stinky feet. Because my stinky feet don't smell like something you would want to smell in a whiskey glass. Yeah, to me, I'm getting kind of that hallmark Buffalo Trace red fruitiness, kind of like this very vague strawberry, raspberry kind of red fruitiness to it, a little bit of cherry type of note.
Okay.
There's a little bit of oak influence in there. And
Maybe. I can't smell that. I have to taste it.
I would say it's kind of delicate on the nose.
Mm-hmm, I'll agree.
Very soft, but generally pleasant.
Yes.
Let's get it on the palate.
Ooh, don't like this.
Oh, it does have a weird little after note on the finish.
Tastes like a weeder.
It's got a weird little bit of funk on the finish that I don't think I'm a fan of, at least on first sip, and we do need to acclimate to this glass. You can't judge a glass by the first sip, but first sip, not a great first impression. For sure. Get another sip.
Second sip was better. That's for sure.
A little more oak.
Still don't love it, but it wasn't as sour as the first sip. The first sip, there was something sour and off-putting. It was less sour this time, so that was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of everything the nose was, right? Like, it's very generally sweet. There's not a lot of complexity there. There's this fruity element to it that's kind of red berry-ish. And there's that little bit of an oak note, like a sweet oak that's kind of underlying all the fruitiness. But it's overall, I would say it is a very subtle glass. It's not that the flavor is low, but there's just not a lot of complexity there.
Yeah, it is kind of warm at the finish.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's hanging around. I mean, kudos to it. It doesn't seem to be very high proof, but the finish is kind of sticking a little bit. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how glass 2 compares. Let's get it on the nose.
This smells dark.
Compared to glass 1, much darker.
Well, yeah, this is the only thing I have to compare it to, but it smells like dark, maple syrupy. There we go.
I'm getting that. I'm also getting some of the DNA of glass 1 in here as well.
Oh,
I'm getting a little bit of that kind of vague fruitiness, but I am getting a little bit of a darker element between the oak and kind of the maple syrupy type of note.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can even get a little bit of barrel char on this, which I like that. That's nice. It's a nice welcomed addition over glass 1.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Let's get on the palate.
Taste it, yeah. Okay, so not as dark on the palate, not as complex as I thought it would be, but it was a pleasant flavor. I don't know what I'm tasting.
Again, I think the nose tracks perfectly with the palate, the palate tracks perfectly with the nose. I'm getting that maple syrupy sweetness, kind of mid to back palate that's just setting in. I would say both of these are generally sweet bourbon-y type profiles. So if you like sweet bourbon, either one of these would be great options for you.
I'm getting a savory note on this.
Well, to me, that's the barrel char and the maple syrupy type of note that I'm getting. But I will say complexity-wise, they're kind of even Stevens here. Like, not one is standing out over the other as being like dramatically more complex or anything like that.
I agree with that. I do like
Fairly
this one
good.
better already, though.
I do need to take a second sip of this one.
I already have, but let's do a third. There's a little bit of coffee, like a coffee shop. When you walk into a coffee shop, that smell, I'm getting that flavor.
That. Yeah, I could see that. I'm definitely getting more oak on the second glass compared to the first glass. I'm just, the whole profile just seems to be, the word I want to use is robust. Like, there's a more robust profile to glass 2, but with that said, it's not, doesn't seem to be
complex,
dramatically higher proof or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, these seem to be kind of on even footing. Just glass 2 seems to maybe have a little bit more of an aged element to it, or
just like a darker,
the profile's a little bit darker or something like that. We're going to spend some time with these two, not talking to a camera, give them their just dues. Sometimes things can change quite dramatically when we do this. Other times they can stay exactly the same. Yep. Seems like glass 2 might be our front runner right now, but we'll have to see what happens when we spend some time with them. Start with the second glass, go back to the first. We'll do all that and we'll be right back in a minute. For me, this was interesting. I think for you, it was a little bit more straightforward.
For sure.
Nothing changed for you?
Nope.
Okay. So what did you think? Where are you at?
I am a thumbs down on glass 1.
Hard pass.
Didn't like it.
Wow.
I wouldn't want to drink it. Like, I wouldn't want to own a bottle of it. I'm sure we probably do.
Wow.
And
okay.
then I'm a, are we doing?
Go ahead.
I'm a just okay on glass 2.
Wow. So neither one of these are really your jam.
Neither one of these are really my jam. I did like the flavors that I was getting from glass 2, but there was still something about it that I was like, I've had better.
Yeah. And to clarify, thumbs down is like a hard pass. Just okay is, you can kind of take it or leave it.
I could take it or leave it.
It's not bad.
I'd get a pour of it at the bar, but I probably wouldn't want to buy a bottle of it.
Or if someone poured you a glass of it, you would finish the glass, but you probably wouldn't ask for another one.
Correct.
Whereas thumbs down, you probably wouldn't even finish the glass.
Correct.
Okay. So for me, it did change a little bit. I started getting more complexity on glass 2. I got like this kind of doughy element to it, kind of like a fried dough.
Yeah,
and glass 1 got a little bit more like concentrated apple juice sweetness to it.
Okay.
So I ended up liking both of these, but not loving either one of them. And typically that would be thumbs up for both of them. But... And you know what? I'm going to go thumbs up on both of them for what they are.
Okay.
They're different scenarios.
Would you want to own bottles of both of them?
Well, it's going to be so price dependent. If this is a low price...
But at this point, let's pretend they're both reasonably priced. Would you want to own bottles of both of them?
Yeah, I can see a scenario for owning both of these.
Okay.
Glass 1's a little bit more bright and fruity. It's more of like a hot summer day sipper type of deal for me.
Okay.
Glass 2 has a little bit more depth and complexity. Like the sun has gone down. I'm going to pour this later at night and going to enjoy it a little bit more. But they're both generally sweet. Pretty good. Can't wait to find out the prices and what we've been drinking.
Hold on. I think for me, I do want to make sure I know. There is something sour and off-putting to me about glass 1. And that is why I didn't like it. There was something about it that was just like not my jam.
And that's, without that, you're probably just okay.
Correct.
But with that sour element that you were detecting...
Yeah.
Thumbs
and not
down.
like the good sour, like sour candy, like sour, like something turned.
Yeah. All right. Let's find out price first, see if that changes our ratings.
Okay.
And then we'll find out what we're drinking.
Okie dokie.
So in our blind sample pool, glass number 1 is number 61.
Okay.
And glass number 2 is number 62.
Okay.
Price on glass 1
is $30.
That's exactly what I wanted it to be, $25 to $30.
Yep.
I will stay a thumbs up on that.
Okay. And I'm staying a thumbs down.
Okay.
Because I just didn't like the way it tasted.
Glass number 2.
$45.
That tastes more, it tastes better than glass 1 to me.
And 45 is still not that horrible. I feel like that's reasonably priced for what I was drinking. I don't feel ripped off by that.
Yeah. I mean,
even though I did give it just okay, the price and the flavor I feel like are on par with each other.
I mean, I honestly feel like both of these are just fine. I could almost go down to just okay on both of them because like I don't have to have a bottle of either one of them, but I kind of would like a bottle. Okay. So it's a very soft thumbs up, or it's a soft thumbs up. Okay, glass number 1, what are we drinking?
Sazerac Rye.
That's a rye?
Yeah.
Oh, I detect it now. Dadgummit. Okay, what's glass number? What's glass number 2?
Wow. Michter's US1 Kentucky Straight Rye.
Oh man, this is your Michter's Rye.
This is my Michter's Rye?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, I have a history with this Michter's rye. Is that what what's the U.S. one?
Yeah, that's what they call their rye.
Oh, okay. I do like this rye. It's 84
Wow.
proof. The Michter's is 84.8 proof, and the Sazerac is 90 proof. You know what's so funny is that I claim to be a Sazerac lover, and then in blinds, it does not do well for me at all. I don't think it ever has in a blind that we've done, if I can recall.
Yeah, so there's this, and I've heard other channels talk about like this gingerbready type of note, or like, what do they call them? Like the snickerdoodle type of note.
Oh, I love snickerdoodles.
In this, like a cookie type of note. I got a fried dough.
You were getting, no, you didn't say fried dough.
I did say fried dough.
You said doughy.
Rewind the tape. I'm not going to do the replay thing, but I said fried dough. I did. You guys know I did. Tell her I did in the comments below, because she doesn't think I can be right sometimes. I said fried dough. Not in the break, but when we came back on camera, I said I was getting a fried dough type of element.
You probably did, because when you talk on camera, I don't listen.
If you listen to me only half the time, you're only going to get half of the information.
Well, that takes one to know one.
So, I don't even know what that means in this context.
You only listen to me half the time, so you should know.
Oh, okay.
Shots fired.
So, this is wild, because you said there was something sour in this.
Yeah. I got straight up something funky in a bad way, not in a good way, which I don't know why I got that. Normally on Sazerac Rye, I feel like I get like a sweet tea vibe.
Yeah, and
which I'm not getting today.
This is our bottle. It is getting fairly low. To me, now that I'm drinking it, knowing what it is, relatively sweet, generally simple, kind of that concentrated sugary sweetness like a Buffalo Trace product can have. That's kind of what you're getting in this.
Yeah, but
I do think the Michter's is much better.
I agree, but this is not tasting how it normally tastes for me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like it. Like, it never does well on blinds.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend it does. But when I know that I'm drinking it, I do like it. So that's very
telling of the bias.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest takeaway from here, we try to leave you guys with a takeaway every time. I don't usually call it out. I just kind of say it. But the general takeaway here is Sazerac is a product that is difficult to find in a lot of markets out there. There are products that are on the shelf that are very comparable experience-wise, that may even have a flavor profile that you prefer more than Sazerac. At least both of us did today.
Yep.
And I think this tracks with our experience non-blind. We do prefer the Michter's US 1 Rye more than Sazerac. Now, granted, it is more expensive, but I think it's worth paying up for. I would spend the extra $15 and buy this over the Sazerac, personally speaking.
Is it easier to find than Sazerac?
Yes, much easier to find.
That also is a factor. For me, in my buying decisions, if something's super hard to find, I'm less likely to want to go find it.
Exactly. But we are not hard to find. You can catch us here 4 days a week. Every week, we're bringing you guys content. So if you like that style of thing, then subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, like the video, and hit the bell if you'd like to join us on one of our live streams. We do them once a month. Please join us. We would love to have you hit that bell.
Absolutely. That's it for today. Be good to each other. And until next time,
Cheers.